Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AD&D 2nd Edition Player's Handbook read-through. Today, we've made our character, all his stats, class, he's got his hit points, he's got the number of spells he's going to have, all the good stuff has happened, but now we got to know how he's going to act, how he's going to interact with the world, how the world might interact with him. We're going to talk about alignments. In this first segment, we're going to talk about what the alignments are. And then in the next segment, we're going to talk about how to play them. So let's get into it.
I thought you just sounded like a stopping point. I thought you were done.
It wasn't stopping.
Good time for me to throw my blurb in right here, which is this. It's probably more appropriate for the next video. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do, I don't care what Gary Gygax said. I don't care what your buddy said. I don't care what some book says. I don't care what astrological fortunes say. I am basing everything that I talk about alignments on what the book says. I'm not going to some third, fourth, fifth party. Well, this is what alignments really mean. Don't care what does the book say. That is how, at least from my perspective, I don't know how he's going to cover it, but that's from my perspective, even if it goes against what I think. Now, I might talk about what I think, but we're going to talk about what the book says. So if the book does not say it's some cosmological war, then that's not what it is. And we got a $20 super chat that I have to interrupt you for.
Go for it.
Now, here's the giveaway. Not quite. We're not there yet, but we're closer. We're actually halfway there because we have another super chat that we'll read in just a moment. So thank you very much, Squirrel Hermit. Always good to see you here, and hope you're having a good day. All right, go ahead. Bring it.
All right, here it is. Alignment, people. It's alignments. They're everywhere. After all other steps toward creating a character have been completed, the player must choose an alignment for the character. In some cases, a special paladin, the choice of alignments may be limited, or one.
Very limited.
Very limited. I suppose it's still true, but it's a little misleading. The character's alignment is a guide to his basic moral and ethical attitudes towards others, society, good, evil, and the forces of the universe in general. This does not. No, I'm not. I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to wait. Okay. Use the chosen alignment as a guide to provide a clearer idea of how the character will handle moral dilemmas. Always consider alignment as a tool, not a straitjacket that restricts the character. Although alignment defines general attitudes, it certainly doesn't prevent a character from changing his beliefs, acting irrationally, or behaving out of character. Everyone has a bad day.
Yep.
Everyone has a circumstance where they will kill somebody. No, I'm a pacifist. I'll never kill anyone. Then you'll die a coward. That's exactly what's going to happen. If your life or the life of someone you care about is in danger and you either save yourself, them, or kill someone, you got to make a choice. Die a coward or feel bad and be the good guy. That's it. So sometimes you can go against your alignment, and unless you're a paladin, because they have the severe restrictions based on their class because they're so OP.
They also have codes that they have to follow. Yeah.
One alignment infraction is not going to break the universe. All right. Sorry, it's not going to do it. Alignment is divided into two sets of attitudes: order and chaos, and good and evil. Now, these are broad strokes, and they're divvied up a little bit, but this is basically it. By combining the different variations
on normal human society, not what the orcs think, not what a cat or dog thinks, not what some celestial thinks. It's on the concepts of normal human everyday behavior that you would understand. That's generally a good act. That's generally an evil act.
Yes. Well, in my society, that's evil and that's good. Well, then go back to your society. That's not in this game. Sorry. By combining the different variations within the two sets, 9 distinct alignments are created. These 9 alignments serve well to define the attitudes of most of the people in the world. And by most, I mean non-monsters. There you go. Angels are monsters? Yes, they are. Law, neutrality, and chaos. Attitudes toward order and chaos are divided into 3 opposing beliefs. Picture these beliefs as points on a triangle. all pulling away from each other. The three beliefs are law, chaos, and neutrality. One of these represents each character's ethos, his understanding of society and relationships. Characters who believe in law maintain that order, organization, and society are important, indeed vital, forces of the universe. Now, notice it didn't say for everyone to get along. Notice it didn't say, you know, we have to have laws so I can break. No. Your character believes that laws and an ordered society are the only way forward. That's it. For good or evil. We're not there yet.
Especially depending on the specific good, evil, neutral of your alignment, you can think some laws are unjust. You can push back against certain specific laws, but as an overarching belief, you like the structure and you'd rather live in that ordered society of maybe some crappy laws than a free-for-all anarchic society.
Yeah.
Just do
you
what you
believe that people grow and prosper more so in an ordered, lawful society than a chaotic one. That's what you believe. Okay, great. Valid. Respect you 100%. Let's continue. The relationship between people and governments exists naturally. Law philosophers maintain that this order is not created by man, but is natural law of the universe. Although man does not create orderly structures, it is his obligation to function within them, lest the fabric of everything crumble. For less philosophical types, lawfulness manifests itself in the belief that laws should be made and followed, if only to have understandable rules for society. If everyone is on the same page, moving forward is easier because you can tell when someone is right and when someone is wrong.
Yep.
That's the basis of laws, to create a society that you know what can be done and you know what can't be done. I get it. I'm on board. Let's continue. People should not pursue personal vendettas, for example, but should present their claims to the proper authorities. Strength comes through unity of action, as can be seen in guilds, empires, and powerful churches. Now, notice, like, well, my church sucks. Well, again, we're not at good or evil yet. We're just organization. Those espousing neutrality tend to take a more balanced view of things. They hold that for every force in the universe, there is an opposite force somewhere. Where there is lawfulness, there's also chaos. Where there is neutrality, there is also partnership. The same is true of good and evil, life and death. What is important is that these forces remain in balance with each other. If one factor becomes ascendant over its opposite, the universe becomes unbalanced. And we're going over here. There we go. Enough of these polarities go out of balance, the fabric of reality could pull itself apart. For example, if death became ascendant over life, the universe would become a barren wasteland. Now, notice very specifically that it's talking about grand concepts when it comes to neutrality. We're not talking about, oh, I can't have eggs or bacon for breakfast.
I pick steak over pork, therefore I'm not neutral. I don't even know who came up with that nonsense. It's so funny because you lived a different life than I did, and we ran across these people.
Yes. They're okay. We're
by the
moving
way,
on.
One
We're going to get to that later.
One correction, and I don't normally correct when you read a word wrong because I don't care that much, but in this case, it actually makes a big difference. You said, go back up the other page. Let's see, where
partisanship.
Yeah, partisanship.
I said partner. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I misspoke. Philosophers of neutrality not only presuppose the existence of opposites, but they also theorize that the universe would vanish should one opposite completely destroy the other, since nothing can exist without its opposite. That's a theory, not a fact. Let's move forward. Fortunately for these philosophers and all sentient life, the universe seems to be efficient at regulating itself. Only when a powerful unbalancing force appears, which almost never happens, need to the defenders of neutrality become seriously concerned. Now, the whole I like this idea in video games and stories, because a giant unbalancing force is portrayed in video games and stories as almost exclusively evil. And a equally powerful opposing force, usually the player character or the protagonist of the story, rises up, gains power to become more powerful than that force to drive it back. That's story writing 101 right there. Happens all the time. That's what this kind of idea
examples are Gandalf and Alanon. Yeah, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings and Alanon from Sword of Shannara.
Sure. The believers in chaos hold that there is no preordained order or careful balance of forces in the universe. Instead, they see the universe as a collection of things and events, some related to each other and others completely independent. They tend to hold that individual actions count for the differences in things and that events in one area do not alter the fabric of the universe halfway across the galaxy. Chaotic philosophers believe in the power of the individual over his own destiny and are fond of I don't agree.
I'm just looking at chat where
everything up until now sounds more libertarian than
chaotic is libertarianism.
Yeah. So I don't like saying anarchist type things when you're talking about chaotic. The way they describe it in the rest of this paragraph is libertarian. Is my decisions are mine and they matter to the area around me. That's libertarian, like 101, like down the sheet, right? Being more pragmatic, non-philosophers recognize the function of society in protecting their individual rights. Chaotics can be hard to govern as a group since they place their own needs and desires above those of society. So there you go. You have law, chaos, and neutrality, and those are the definitions of them. But that's only half of your character. And some would say the lesser half. I disagree. I think that's the more important half than the good or evil part. But
it's the more nuanced, that's for sure.
Fair enough. Good, neutrality, and evil. Like law and order, the second set of attitudes is also divided into 3 parts. These parts describe more or less a character's moral outlook. They are his internal guideposts to what is right or wrong. Good characters are just that. They try to be honest, charitable, and forthright. People are not perfect, however, so few are good all the time. There are always occasional failings and weaknesses. A good person, however, worries about his errors and normally tries to correct any damage done. Fair. I'm on board with that. Remember, however, that goodness has no absolute values. Although many things are commonly accepted as good, helping people in need, protecting the weak, different cultures impose their own interpretation on what is good and what is evil. Now, this is the part where the book is telling you, depending on your upbringing, your idea of good and evil may be different than mine.
There's still going to be some things that are just
normal. Now, this is the DM's problem. All right. This is the dungeon master's problem. If you want something like that in your game, this good, evil, moral ambiguism because of cultural, bias or whatever, you have to decide if you even want that crap in your game. It's going to make everything harder. If you're ready for that, go for it. If not, no, you are not from Japan. It is not good to cut a peasant in half to test your sword. That's evil. But in my place, it's good. It's expected. Well, you're not in your place, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, good news. This game is based on Western culture. I agree with Heathen Dog on that one. I don't care who you are. You cut somebody in half, that's an evil act. Even if you think you're not an evil person, that's still an evil act, and you should feel bad about that. However, where things become more nuanced, let's continue with the death thing. Saving the life of the elderly, the death penalty. I'm not trying to get political here, but just the idea of abortion and so forth, because they did have, drinks that they would try to drink and so forth back then. Some crap that was not snake, crocodile crap or something they jam up in. I can't remember what all that stupid stuff the Egyptians did. Those things, one person can be on this side of the fence and still be good. The other person can be on this side of the fence and still be good, as long as the arguments are sound. I'm not saying have big philosophical debates with your players. I'm just saying somebody on the more nuanced type stuff, Even like I can know a couple of them he and I would disagree on completely. I can still see him as a good person, even if I disagree on that, in the terms of Dungeons and Dragons, because he doesn't come from a place of selfishness and evil, kill them all, yada
Yeah,
yada. But
you have to think as think of alignments as a road. Okay, a road is pretty wide if you're walking it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of wiggle room in there. You could be on the right side of the road and the left side of the road, still be on the lawful good part of the road, or the neutral good, or the chaotic good, whatever. You're still on the same road. You're just on different sides. The road is wide enough to have different nuanced beliefs.
But I would argue that if you have to justify all of your actions, either or rationalize. If you have to rationalize all of your actions, either you are the problem, or the dungeon master is the problem, and you two need to figure this out.
Yeah,
because that's
but
the other thing that I see
that's going to be in segment 2. That's going to be in segment 2.
So I was going to just talk about it generically here, but okay, go ahead.
I understand. Those with a neutral moral stance often refrain from passing judgment on anything. They do not classify people, things, or events as good or evil. What is, is. In some cases, this is because the creature lacks the capacity to make a moral judgment. Animals fall in this category. If an animal kills, a lion kills a gazelle, the lion is not evil. It's doing what lions do. It just is.
And no, the gazelle does not think the lion's evil either.
No, the gazelles are like, damn it, I got caught. Or not thinking anything at all because it's goddamn gazelle. Few normal creatures do anything for good or evil reasons. They kill because they're hungry or are threatened. They sleep where they find shelter. They do not worry about the moral consequences of their actions. Their actions are instinctive. Evil is the antithesis of good and appears in many ways, some overt and some quite subtle. Only a few people of evil nature actively seek to cause harm or destruction. Most simply do not recognize that what they do is destructive or disruptive. People and things that obstruct the evil character's plans are hindrances and must be overcome. If someone is harmed in the process, well, that's too bad. Remember that evil, like good, is interpreted differently in different societies. Think of it this way. What was said about good people, when they make mistakes, when something goes wrong, they feel bad about it and fix the behavior in the future, or if they can, repair the damage they've caused. Evil people don't care. You were in the way and you're dead. And now I move on. Problem solved. They don't give it a second thought to the damage they've caused because they've achieved the objective.
You just bilked this guy and his family out of 10 gold pieces, which is pretty much his entire life savings because he's a farmer and so forth. So
okay.
Like that right there, that would be definitionally evil. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Alignment combinations. Okay, now we know we know the 6 different points on this alignment star. Now, how do we put them together? What happens when we put them together? Well, here we go. According to the book,
is this for the second video? I forget what you're doing for the second video.
No, playing the character's alignment is the second video.
Oh, I had that. Okay, that's my fault. I had it broken down wrong. Okay.
9 different alignments result from combining these 2 sets. Each alignment varies from all others, sometimes in broad, obvious ways and sometimes in subtle ways. Each alignment is described in the following paragraphs. Now, we're just going to describe them. Playing them is going to be in the second where we're going to talk about them and the ramifications and what people do, all that stuff. Lawful good. Characters of this alignment believe that an orderly, strong society with a well-organized government can work to make life better for the majority of the people. Now, that sentence right there, we can just stop. We can stop because that's all you need to understand lawful good. Laws make the people's life better, and that's a good thing. That's lawful good.
Well, majority of people's lives better.
Yes. But we're going to continue, though, because, I got to read the whole thing. To ensure the quality of life, laws must be created and obeyed. When people respect the laws and try to help one another, society as a whole prospers. Respect the laws, lawful. Try to help one another, good. That's not hard. This is not brain surgery here. It's fine. Therefore, lawful good characters strive for those things that will bring the greatest benefit to the most people and cause the least harm. Nobody is perfect. You're a living being. You're not a god. Even gods in this game aren't perfect, but you are definitely imperfect. As long as you keep striving to do those two things.
And
Laws
happiness does
help
not equate to, or harm doesn't mean that you're sad necessarily. Just because you're not happy doesn't mean you're being harmed.
No. Compromise is part of law as well, especially when adjudicating or creating them.
It brings harm to my feelings to not be able to murder people.
Your feelings are meaningless in someone else's alignment. I'm sorry. An honest and hardworking serf, a kindly and wise king, or a stern but forthright minister of justice are all examples of lawful good people, or people that can be lawful good.
Mm-hmm.
Lawful neutral. Order and organizations are of paramount importance to characters of this alignment. They believe in a strong, well-ordered government, whether that government is a tyranny or a benevolent democracy. Doesn't matter. The benefits of organization and regimentation outweigh any moral questions raised by their actions. An inquisitor determined to ferret out traitors at any cost, or a soldier who never questions his orders, are good examples of lawful neutral behavior. The whole lawful neutral thing, according to this write-up, is this. People smarter than me or worked harder at it than me made these laws. If you follow the law, good things will happen in the end. Every time, of course not. Nobody's perfect. But you follow the law, it'll all work itself out.
This is a really good alignment for people who live on the fringes of cultures, because when this culture takes over and has a new set of rules, you're like, and I'm not being facetious about this, you can look at this historically. Oh, well, now we're German. All right, well, follow German laws. Oh, wait, now we're French. Now we follow the French laws. Oh, wait, now the Italians moved up in here. Now we follow, the Italian laws. It's kind of that concept, like which king are we under today? Right. And this is what I'm going to do going forward, because this is the way I stay beneath the radar and I can live.
Yep. This is the new deal. All right. Lawful evil. These characters believe in using society and its laws to benefit themselves. Structure and organization elevate those who deserve to rule, as well as provide a clearly defined hierarchy between master and servant. To this end, lawful evil characters support laws and societies that protect their own concerns. If someone is hurt or suffers because of a law that benefits lawful evil characters, too bad. It's a law. Lawful evil characters obey laws out of fear of punishment, because they may be forced to honor an unfavorable contract or oath they have made. Lawful evil characters are usually very careful about giving their word. Once given, they break their word only if they can find a way to do it legally within the laws of the society. An iron-fisted tyrant and a devious, greedy merchant are examples of lawful evil beings. Lawful evil beings aren't murderous psychopaths. That comes later. All right? That comes later. You can have a generally good society run by a lawful evil king.
Mm-hmm.
You can. It's entirely possible. Lawful evil means the law is there not for the protection of other people. The law is not there to make other people happy. The law is there to give everyone strict guidelines and to be used and abused to the point just before breaking to make sure my life is better than yours.
My favorite example of lawful evil is, and this isn't all of them, but it's the lawyer that finds all the loopholes in the system in order to benefit himself or to get somebody who's clearly guilty off.
Yeah. But that's the lawyer's job. His job is to give his client the best defense possible within the law.
Well, that's an American concept, and I agree with that. But I'm talking even outside of that. The one who's like, the ambulance chaser lawyer, so to speak. Like, oh, look at me.
Yes. As long as in that area that's not breaking law, and there are some places that have laws against ambulance chasing.
Yeah.
Neutral good. Okay, we're going to the other side now. These characters believe that a balance of forces is important, but that the concerns of law and chaos do not moderate the need for good. Since the universe is vast and contains many creatures striving for different goals, a determined pursuit of good will not upset the balance. It may even maintain it. if this is all wishful thinking here, but okay. If fostering good means supporting organized society, then that is what must be done. If good can only come through the overthrow of an existing social order, so be it. Social structure itself has no innate value to them. A baron who violates the orders of the king to destroy something he sees as evil is an example of a neutral good character. Okay. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that whole paragraph sounds like all protesters are neutral good. Rioting protesters are neutral good. In their heads, they are. Yeah, I agree. But also, terrorists are neutral good, according to their culture. So you have to be careful, and you as a dungeon master have to make these things pretty clear on the jump. How neutral good is defined, where the player characters are, and to make sure that they understand that's how it works.
That's
Because
weird. I've never.
There's a lot of sophistry that could happen from a player to turn neutral good into a jihadist.
Yeah, the way it was described to me was that I think it's a Benjamin Franklin quote. I might be wrong. I should know this, but I don't. Where it's better that 10 men go free, lest we convict one man. I forget the exact quote, but you guys know what it is out there.
Falsely, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
it's the way it was always described to me, where neutral good wants good for all, and if that means we got to tolerate something bad for the betterment of everybody else, then we'll do that. I never thought of it in the terrorist side. I mean, from their point of view, if you think that you're going against a tyrannical government, yes, but you better be right about that. And that also goes back to the feelings thing that we were talking about before.
You better be right again.
Well, yeah, but we're talking feelings and the nuance. Just because you don't like what's being done does not mean that the Duke or whatever is a tyrant. Just because he passed a law that you might not, because you are no longer allowed to give coins to the poor. Why? Because the poor, they were finding out, were getting beat up in the back, in the back alleys and having all their crap taken, and we're worse off in the end. So we don't want that. We have a charitable building that you have to now give it to. Well, that's just because they're taxing it, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden you're uprising against the government. That's not a neutral good act. Just because you feel that something hasn't gone your way, you have to look at the bigger picture on that. Now, you as an individual might hate it and might do something to work around it. And I'm going to keep this short, I guess. But the whole idea, though, is the fact that the terrorist side of it, if you're talking government versus government, that would be a neutral good society that has different beliefs versus another neutral good society that has different beliefs. I don't think that would be an individual.
Again, player shenanigans can blur the line. So as a dungeon master, be careful of neutral good. Now, true neutral, that's a different story. You don't have to be careful. Watch this. True neutral characters believe in the ultimate balance of forces, and they refuse to see actions as either good or evil. Since the majority of people in the world make judgments, true neutral characters are extremely rare. True neutrals do their best to avoid siding with the forces of either good or evil, law or chaos. It is their duty to see that all of these forces remain in balanced contention. That paragraph alone is absolute dog shit. It won't help a player play their character at all. We need more.
Well, there's a place for that.
Luckily, there is more.
The Druid's Handbook. The Druid's Handbook has a
fantastic.
I know, but just to put it out there, folks, because I agree with Heathen Dog. Listening to that right there, you just all of a sudden got all the rationalization in the world to do whatever the hell you want.
You can do anything and nothing and be right.
Right.
No, I don't like that. The
Druid's Handbook is absolutely amazing. It's got a couple of pages on the true neutral alignment in there. We did a video on it, Gatekeepers, in the past, so I don't know if it's up on our channel somewhere. Absolutely fantastic. Check it out. Find a way to get those pages in your hands, and you're going to understand the true neutral alignment is both playable and fun. Because based on what he just read, I tend not to agree with Heathen Dog on this one, but he's actually kind of right. That's almost unplayable or overly playable. I don't know how to say it.
Unregulated nonsense. That's what that is. But we have more words, so we're gonna go with more words. They were smart and put more words in it. True neutral characters sometimes find themselves forced into rather peculiar alliances. To a great extent, they are compelled to side with the underdog in any given situation, sometimes even changing sides as the previous loser becomes the winner. A true neutral druid might join the local barony to put down a tribe of evil gnolls, only to drop out or switch sides when the gnolls were brought to the brink of destruction. He would seek to prevent either side from becoming too powerful. Clearly, there are very few true neutral characters in the world. No kidding, because no GM wants to handle that nonsense. The way true neutral is written here, I would not allow it, and I don't allow it in my games.
The thing that I never liked about that paragraph is again the way people
crap.
Well, it's the way people perceive the one sentence in there about the gnolls. Oh, there's a tribe of gnolls, so let's say 200 of them. We can't wipe them out. Well, if you know that there are 20,000 gnolls all over the place, and these gnolls here are literally causing problems for people and humanity and whatever else, yes, you can. On the flip side, if the gnolls are minding their own business and people like to mess with them constantly, I'm talking from the druid standpoint, and people are messing with them constantly, and if you anger the gnolls are going to do something about that. The druid's going to go after you. Why not the gnolls? They're evil, because he sees the balance and you're the one causing the problem. Again, a lot of good write-up in the Druid's Handbook that describes that more, but
this one does not do true neutral any favors at all. Okay, we're going to talk about it more in the next section, but it's just dog shit. Neutral evil. Neutral evil characters are primarily concerned with themselves and their own advancement. They have no particular objection to working with others, or for that matter, going it on their own. Their only interest is in getting ahead. There's a quick and easy way to gain profit, whether it be legal, questionable, or obviously illegal. They take advantage of it. Although neutral evil characters do not have the every man for himself attitude of chaotic characters, they have no qualms about betraying their friends and companions for personal gain. They typically base their allegiance on power and money, which makes them quite receptive to bribes. An unscrupulous mercenary, a common thief, and a double-crossing informer who betrays people to the authorities to protect and advance himself are typical examples of neutral evil characters. This is an awesome alignment. I love it, because every single thief, every single dirty merchant, every single corrupt cop, the DM doesn't have to think about what their alignment is. It's neutral evil. There you go. There it is.
I know somebody will argue that chaotic evil is, especially when we read it, but I argue that neutral evil is the most self-centered, selfish alignment. If you're just purely self-centered and want to get ahead in the world by being 100% self, because I think that chaotic evil is crazy, and he'll get to that in a moment. But neutral evil is the most me.
Think about it. Lawful evil was I advance myself, but I make sure to stay within the law so no one can ding me on it.
Mm-hmm.
Neutral evil doesn't give a crap about the law. Only my advancement. Any means necessary.
But he doesn't necessarily have to burn everything down in order to get that done.
Exactly. I'm not going to sacrifice something to maybe gain something. He's not stupid. If betraying you has no downside and only has upside for me, it's 100% going to happen. 100%. You know exactly where you stand. That's it. No decision necessary. This decision tree has one path. You are betrayed. That's it.
Me. That's it.
So when dealing with this, okay, no, we're going to talk about that when playing. All right. Chaotic good. Chaotic good characters are strong individualists marked by a streak of kindness and benevolence. They believe in all the virtues of goodness and right, but they have little use for laws and regulations. They have no use for people who try to push folk around and tell them what to do. Their actions are guided by their own moral compass, which, although good, may not always be in perfect agreement with the rest of society. A brave frontiersman forever moving on as settlers follow in his wake is an example of a chaotic good character. Now, hear me out. A lot of people think the opposite of chaotic good is chaotic evil, or lawful evil even. That's not right. That's not right. By the way that's written, I think that the opposite of chaotic good is actually neutral evil. Neutral evil, we just talked about it. primarily concerned with themselves and their own advancement, and they don't care. That is the only thing. Chaotic good care about other people basically to a fault, will break any law to serve their morality.
I would have to put this paragraph side by side with the neutral good, because you're describing neutral good to me. Because neutral good, chaotic good is more about, this is actually where I put the libertarians, is chaotic good.
Really? Oh, okay.
I mean, I generally agree with what you were saying before about that, but in specific mindset, a normal libertarian that isn't, selfish, really is just looking for the betterment of it. Just live and let live, man. Let him be happy. Let him do his thing. Who cares? He's not hurting anybody. And if you're gonna try to stop him, I'm gonna stop you from stopping. Like that's.
Well, libertarians are more me and mine. Right. Me and those in my sphere, those I am responsible for, or that I intimately care about.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, the chaotic good is he cares about everybody. And if anyone is oppressed and he comes across it, he's going to fix that, whether it's legal or not.
Yeah, but I think you missed the first part. At least this is the way I'm perceiving this: is strong individualist. That's the difference between neutral good.
Streak of kindness and benevolence. Yep. That's not libertarian. You can be libertarian and be an asshole.
Sure, but you can also be an asshole and still be kind. Kind and being an asshole are not synonymous. They don't have to be opposites. I guess the point that I'm making here is neutral good is all about, I'm just going to do good. Don't care if it's individualist or in order or whatever. Chaotic good is going to do good because he wants to do good. It's still about me. It's still about, this is what I think is right. This is what I'm going to do. Rules be damned, you be damned, and whatever else be damned.
Okay. I disagree, but we're going to move on.
Okay.
Chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral characters believe, listen very carefully, people. Chaotic neutral characters believe that there is no order to anything, including their own actions. With this as a guiding principle, they tend to follow whatever whim strikes them at the moment. Good and evil are irrelevant when making a decision. Chaotic neutral characters are extremely difficult to deal with. Such characters have been known to cheerfully and for no apparent purpose gamble away everything they have on the roll of a single die. They are almost totally unreliable. In fact, the only reliable thing is that they cannot be relied upon. The alignment is perhaps the most difficult to play. Lunatics and madmen tend toward chaotic neutral behavior. Now, chaotic neutral is right under true neutral in this book for unplayability in practice. Right beneath. Because chaotic neutral, you as a dungeon master, by this alignment, cannot get a gauge on how the player is going to play. I'm chaotic neutral. That says nothing. That literally says nothing about your character. Nothing.
No, it tells me that you're going to be a jerk at the table is what it tells me.
Well, in practice, that's what it is. But even in concept, I still know nothing about your character. I need more. So you as a dungeon master, if someone says my character's chaotic neutral, okay, I need a backstory. I need to know what your character is about, what your character values, if anything, and I need it written down. Because if you don't do that with someone playing chaotic neutral, they're just going to run rampant all over your table and piss and shit over everything and call it legal. That's what they're going to do. So be careful with that. Now, here's what is supposed to be the cream of the bad guy crop. This is supposed to be the most bat crap crazy evil thing in the world. Let's see if it holds up to scrutiny. Chaotic evil. These characters are the bane of all that is good and organized. Chaotic evil characters are motivated by the desire for personal gain and pleasure. They see absolutely nothing wrong with taking whatever they want by whatever means possible. Not necessary, possible. Laws and governments are the tools of weaklings unable to fend for themselves. The strong have the right to take what they want, and the weak are there to be taken from. When chaotic evil characters band together, they are not motivated by desire to cooperate, but rather to oppose powerful enemies. Such a group can be held together only by a strong leader capable of bullying his underlings into obedience. Since leadership is based on raw power, a leader is likely to be replaced at the first sign of weakness by anyone who can take his position away by any method. Bloodthirsty buccaneers and monsters of low intelligence are fine examples of chaotic evil personalities. False. The finest example of a chaotic evil personality is the Demon Lord. The Demon King of any anime. He holds power because he is the strongest and he bullies all of his minions. Skeletor is chaotic evil. That's what he does. He pits his minions against each other. He bullies them. If they step out of line, he breaks them up. He busts their nose a little bit. Get back in line, beast man, you little dog. And then he does it.
I don't know if Heathen Dog meant to do this, but he was right on another account right there.
What's that?
Demons are chaotic, devils are lawful.
There you go. There it is. Yeah. So it was not a great example. Bloodthirsty Buccaneer. No. The best monsters of low intelligence is stupid. Monsters of low intelligence are more instinct than anything else. Sure, they may make a couple of decisions, but they're not going to be about thinking grandiose things like I'm chaotic
ogres
evil.
and orcs and so forth are considered chaotic evil.
Yeah, but I just consider them monsters. They're just running on instinct. Kill, procreate, eat, shit, sleep, do it again tomorrow. That's what they do. They don't have grand plans. Non-aligned creatures. This is going to be easy. In addition to the alignments above, some things, particularly unintelligent monsters, killer plants, and animals, never bother with moral or ethical concerns. For these creatures, alignment is simply not applicable. A dog, even a well-trained one, is neither good, evil, lawful, or chaotic. It's simply a friggin' dog. For these creatures, alignment is always detected as neutral. Not true neutral, not neutral good, neutral evil, chaotic, neutral, lawful. No, just neutral. They don't care. They can't care. That's more apt, actually. They cannot care about your morality. They can't. They have other things to do, like mate, eat, sleep, all that stuff. That's all that matters to them.
And how this shows up in the books is you'll just see an NA or a / in the compendiums if there's no alignment to them. Or a lot of times they'll just say neutral. I find that funny.
All right. And that is it for this segment. Now, in segment 2, after we look at chat, in segment 2, we're going to go over playing the alignment, and we're going to have lots of words on that. You thought this was wordy? I tried to stop him as much as I could in giving his opinion because it's supposed to be in the second episode. So there's going to be a little bit of crossover most likely, but we're going to get there. Don't worry.
Well, part of that was I misunderstood how you're putting this together. I didn't realize it was playing the alignments was going to be a second video. I thought you were doing the overview and then each individual alignment as the second video.
No.
So, all right. Well, I got a bunch of starred comments.
We're going to look at the starred chats first.
Yep.
Always found the predilection of D&D fans to ascribe whatever their take on a D&D alignment as to every fictional character in existence annoying. You know what? I understand people they need help getting their minds around big concepts. Yeah. And an anchor point can help you do that. Now,
humans categorize things and
I hate it when examples.
Stop categorizing me. Everything is categorized in this world.
Everything is categorized. I mean, if you see a balloon for the first time, you ask, what is that? That's a balloon. When you see a different kind of balloon later, you're going to say, that's a balloon, right?
That's
because it resembles a balloon you saw earlier. That's why you know it's a balloon. No. That's a blimp. Why is that a blimp and not a balloon? Well, it's a balloon with other things on it. Oh, okay. So then your idea of a balloon is now bigger. That's how humans work. So if you want to help your players in this, you give them the examples to grasp onto, the examples that work in your campaign at your table. Give them an example or 3 of lawful good, neutral good, chaotic evil, true neutral if you use it. Give your players 1 to 3 examples that they understand and can know so they have something to center their idea of what it is around. Don't let them do it themselves. It may not mesh with what your idea of that alignment is. And that's a problem because it's your table.
You know what I hated most when it came to alignments is when somebody had, well, he's a neutral good with lawful leanings. Hey, what?
Then I don't know what to tell you, man. You gotta shit or get off the pot. You gotta pick one. Walter MC says, personal opinion, players should never be allowed to pick their alignment. It should be assigned to them by the GM based on their choices and actions made by the player's character. Now, a lot of people would agree with this. Me, that's not how the book is built. This is the player's character. The player should be able to define how the character views life in the universe and everything in it. So where I understand where you're coming from, that's not how the book is built. So if you want to run that at your table, fine by me, but get ready for some pushback.
Yeah, and remember, I'm going to say this now again at the end. When we're discussing the alignments, yes, we're putting our own opinions in here as well, but we're discussing them as written in this book.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the big one that Omenal used to give me all the time. It's like, well, alignments are more cosmological. I don't care. It doesn't say that they're cosmological in the book, at least not yet. So therefore, I'm not putting them on a cosmological scale. It literally gives me black and white text there of what alignment means when playing AD&D 2nd edition. And then we'll put our personal takes and opinions on top of that. But this is what we're going with. It doesn't say it's cosmological take. Guess what? It's not a cosmological take.
All right. Mage's Musing says, good people can be assholes. Evil people can appear kind. Alignment doesn't dictate personality, only moral compass. Correct. I agree. I mean, a lawful evil character can do good things. Why? Because those good things benefit him. Neutral evil character can do good things if it benefits him. Even a chaotic evil character can save a child from a pack of wolves as long as it benefits him.
For the glory and the reward and
whatever. And we got more. This is the most boneheaded interpretation of true neutral. I agree. It's unplayable the way it's written, in my opinion. Another crap take on chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral, again, it's right under true neutral in this book for what were they thinking? Squirrel Hermit says chaotic good equals virtue signaling. There is an argument for that. There is an argument. I don't want to get into it, but there is an argument for that. And Polyrobotics, you have $20. And Heathen Dog, are you non-aligned then? Wow. No, I am. Let's see.
He thinks he is.
My player thinks I am neutral good. My player believes that I'm neutral good. Spoiler, okay. I'm not. But that's what my player believes.
Yeah, I've had friends try to describe my alignment. I've tried to describe my alignment, and it always bounces somewhere between neutral good and lawful neutral. And I don't know how to reconcile that.
Yeah. All right, and that is it. In the second segment, we're going to talk about playing the alignments, and this is where more after we read what the book says and we try and understand what the book wants us to do. We're going to talk about what we think is different or wrong, or how people have played it in the past, well or poorly. And so you can have enough experience to where you can dictate what is and is not at your table. That's our hope anyway, that all of our, ignorant ramblings on this stuff help you order your table so it runs as smoothly as possible. So
I'm going to put up another chat here because I think this is a good one to end on, actually. Why isn't it over here on my screen? Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of that one and that one and that one. I got to keep those. Engine Joe says here, because this is something now, to be clear, we talked about this at the beginning of the segment, but I think it's a great way to end it. Kind of, oh my God, bookend this thing here. I don't like a DM using alignment as a straitjacket to railroad the player into playing as he wants. You refuse a quest as a paladin? Your D&D makes you a leper. Oh my God, leper. Roll a new PC. Yeah, well, we talked about that at the beginning. Alignments cause a lot of arguments, and it happens from two sides. Side one, Dungeon Master, doing that. My expectation is you do this under the alignment with no wiggle room. Flip side, player always trying to rationalize his character's behavior. Well, this could be good because no, both extremes are wrong. If you have to continually rationalize, you're not the alignment you think you are. If you can only think that one way, that somebody can't have a bad day, like somebody can't make a mistake. Now, paladins also have an extra code, as we talked about. We've already covered the paladin. There's a lot of videos on the paladin. Check that out.
Yeah.
But it'd be more the paladin's code that would be the problem than the alignment in most cases. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, let's remove the paladin from this conversation because it is the exception, not the rule.
Sure.
For this thing. Lawful good, as we talked about, the laws are important because they help everyone more than they hurt. The laws elevate everyone
to a higher standard.
Most people, they're better for
yeah.
most people than not, right? Yeah. So so that's good. So that's lawful good. Now, is every single law like, no, not every single law. And the lawful good person knows that. Now, they're not going to break the law, but they would petition to get the law changed if it doesn't meet that criteria. Do the most good for the most people. If a law doesn't do that, he'll want that law changed. And that's fine. That's still lawful good. But you still have to obey the law. That's the lawful part.
Can subvert the law quietly. If you find out that there's an evil overlord in an area who's treating, again, we like to use kids in orphanages because it's fun, who's treating the farmstead and the children of the, it's a prima nocte or whatever, he can't openly defy, but he could hide children. He could hide people. He could help them escape.
No law. From what I understand, in medieval society, there's no law in babysitting. There is no law in escorting women somewhere. So he's escorting the women around. It just so happens that it's the time when the evil lord wanted to do bad things to them.
And on the flip side, now this is more about the paladin than anything else, but a third level paladin isn't going to try to stand up against the duke and his army, the one-man wrecking machine, because he's just going to he's not going to be a martyr. He isn't even going to qualify for that.
He'll barely be a footnote.
Right. So he can resist in ways that he's able to do so while still openly and even behind the scenes, for the most part, following the laws, just knowing that this one is unfortunately against this law here that allows the king to do whatever he's doing, to beat slaves twice a day, every day. And that's just the law of the land. Well, I don't know. That isn't good. That's against everything I stand for. He can subvert that. He just can't openly say, I refuse. Because if he does that, well, then like I said, he becomes a footnote.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only is he now breaking the law, but he's probably not going to be outside the dungeon for very long. Or be dead. Yeah. Or just be dead. So yes.
All right.
We're going to talk about that in the next segment when we're playing character alignments.
Yeah, it's really hard to separate, we'll say, the fact from fiction in the terms of how do you play it versus how it's written. That's actually really tough to do. So yeah, like he said, if there's some crosstalk in the next one, I think this next one might get some people heated, and I think it'll be fun because we haven't got people heated in a long time. Maybe we may even make each other heated in this next one. I don't know, but there you go. Those are your alignments as defined by 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Saw some comments in there. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Okay, most people hated it. But maybe when we come to how do you play those alignments, they'll come into their own and it'll be more understandable. So we look forward to talking to you in the next video. Hope to see you then, and have a great day.